Welcome, everyone. As soon as I get the cue, I'll say Shabbat Shalom. It's great to be here with you all. It's a thrill for me to be here on behalf of Congregation Va-Dor with our wonderful, gifted, talented, spiritual cantor, spiritual leader, musical leader, Carol Garrett.
And Rabbi Barry Silver.
And Barry Silver. We're also very lucky to have her very talented granddaughter, who's putting this all on film right now, who's zooming this out so that our customs can resume all over the world as we exhume the wisdom of our ancestors. It's great to be here with you. Also a thrill to be here with Sharon Leibovitz, the brains behind this operation, who gives us our marching orders. She tells us what to do. She winds us up. We don't always get it right. If we don't, it's not her fault. She plans it meticulously to a T. And if I start talking too long, okay, I'm not going to talk any longer because I'm already violating the time frame. But it is great to be here with all of you. And it's also great to be here with Suzanne Burstein, who is our president. If you have any complaints or compliments, tell her now.
Don't go to her.
Because as of August 31, she's abdicating. Now, we have people that would do anything, even steal an election to stay in power. They'll do anything, just stay in power. This one says, no, I'm done, I'm good. I'm like George Washington. He said, okay, that's enough.
After her about fifth time of being president. Right?
Yeah, after her fifth time. Well, she has put in about 25 years at Va-Dor, so she is entitled to a rest. She's not going anywhere, but she's stepping down as president. Would you like to be the next president? No, okay. Okay, we're also very thrilled to have Ruth Notiv here, who plays for us so wonderfully, celebrating her 90th birthday. And it's also a great thrill to have the Oneg Shabbat sponsored by Dr. Marcy Weiss in honor of her mother, Gitti Bader. And thank you very much for doing that. Marcy's a great supporter of the congregation. And we have two surprise guests who are also here that you don't even know about, who are going to also come up here and amaze and dazzle you. One of them I am very thrilled to have here, and I will tell you why later. But for now, we're going to have, I used to call these parodies, and then someone said, no, a parody is when you make fun of someone. What you write is much more dignified. It's not a parody, it's an adaptation. Doesn't that sound better? It's an adaptation. So we're going to have an adaptation from one of my favorite shows when they actually made good TV shows a long, long time ago. It was called Cheers. And it's sung by one of my favorite cantors, who does a great job with some of the song. So listen to Cheers.
Making your way in the world today sure can take a lot. Jews take time on the seventh day to share Shabbat, seeking a righteous, peaceful way.
On Shabbat we like to go where everybody seeks Hashem, and we don't get hung up on the name. You want to go bask in the glow of the Sabbath candle's flame, where you can know that all are glad you came. You want to go where people grow instead of just staying the same, where peace and love we joyously proclaim. Shabbat Shalom. All right, next we call up Dr. Marcy Weiss. She is going to lead us in the candle blessing honor. You might wonder, how do you decide who lights the candles? We look for something who is enlightened. And we came up with Dr. Marcy Weiss. The microphone is, well, I'll wait for you to light the candle so you don't have to have anything in your hand. Ooh.
let's see. It's sun's going down. There's fire in the sky. It kindles a flame. Close the eyes. Draw it into your heart. Let it stay. Where there is light, justice grows and flows like a river of wine. All will be safe and free under the shade of the vine. And under the shade of the tree, this is how we survive. We remember and keep the flame alive. May we remember and look forward to a future with hope and love. Let us now light these candles and bring Shabbat into our lives and our hearts. So let us say together, ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvah sav v'tzivanu lahad l'ner shel Shabbat.
Anything you'd like to say about your mom?
Thank you. I thought you'd never ask. Shabbat shalom, everybody. I also want to wish my son Kevin, he couldn't be here tonight, unfortunately. He just started pharmacy school this week, but it's his birthday next Friday, so I want to wish him a happy birthday in advance. And this is my mom's yurt site, and I prepared a little bit to say about her because she was a great lady. She really was. So I wanted to share a little bit about my mom because she was such a special lady. My mom was born in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada in 1932. And another Canadian? Do we have? Yay, Canadians. My mom was as spunky and cute as a little girl. And when she got older, she had a blind date with a guy from Detroit, Michigan. Turns out that guy was my dad. And they were together for about 62 years. And they were so loving and affectionate. I never remember them even arguing through their relationship. They were really like two peas in a pod and just a sweet, sweet couple. We lived in Oak Park, Michigan, which was mostly Jewish, where I lived. And my whole life was there. And my mom always kept kosher. She always lit the Shabbos candles every Friday night. And she made the best chicken soup that there could be, and really good kreplach as well. Chopped liver, and she even made these egg rolls that were delicious. I can just taste them right now. My mom, she loved to bake, and she made this pastry. We called it nothings, is what she called it, but later we learned that they were really called angel wings. They had powdered sugar on them. You heard of those before? So they were delicious. And I remember growing up that she knitted, and sewed Barbie clothes. I don't really know how she did that. They're so tiny and everything, and I wish I would have kept them. Now they'd probably be worth a fortune with that Barbie movie. And so I don't know how she could make them that way, but she made clothes for me too. She made me a corduroy, eggshell colored suit that I wore to school, I remember, and she made me a blue Empire waist dress with a ribbon that I wore to one of my cousin's bar mitzvahs. So she was really, really talented. And she was so creative and talented. She was helpful. And I remember one day I came home from Sunday school, and I brought this project that I was supposed to do for Tu B'Shvat. We were supposed to make a picture. And I remember I got a D on it. I was not the best artist, you guys, you know. And she sat me down, and she very, very kindly and carefully showed me how to do it, and I turned it in and I got an A. So she had so much patience and creativity. It was wonderful. She encouraged me to take ballet lessons when I was just 6 years old, encouraged me to go into the Brownies and then the Girl Scouts, then to BBG, which was a big, big part of my teen years. One year she took lessons doing calligraphy. And she taught me how to do it. We had a little business. We were doing weddings and bar mitzvahs and addressing the envelopes, and it was just a lot of fun together. And one year, she took a class in how to do cake decorating. And after that, my kids had cakes of every kind you could imagine. They had cakes that were decorated like the Detroit Pistons. They had cakes that were Mickey Mouse. They had clown cakes, you name it. And whenever the Jewish holidays came around, she made all the Jewish foods. and made it beautiful and Hamish every holiday for the family. She loved the family to be together, especially on the holidays, and she made sure that everybody was comfortable and happy. She was a giving and caring lady. She was full of love and compassion. And her and her sister, Mary and Sarah, my two aunts that I love so much, they knitted squares to be put together to be made Afghans, like blankets, to give to the homeless. I remember them doing that. She walked the street for donations for cancer. She did all of those things. She was not pretentious, but she was always stylish and petite and feminine. And she taught her children ethics and values, to be kind to others and to be honest with integrity and respect. And it's really just so hard to believe, wrapping up, that she's been gone for really 7 years now. It's really hard to believe. And, you know, I try to live in a way that makes her proud of me, but you never stop missing your parents, for sure. The only best thing to do is to keep her name and memory alive. And she's a shining example of an amazing mother, wife, sister, and bubby. And she will always be in our hearts. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you so much, Dr. Weiss. You know, she really helps all of us to appreciate our parents and never to forget, and to have what I call our parents as a GPS, a guiding parental spirit that gives us direction and helps us to find our destination if we feel lost. It's beautiful to see someone who has so much love and who can incorporate all the beauty of their parents' lives in them. That's what we seek here. I thank you very much. We're going to have the Kiddush honor now. Is this right, my brother? Oh, okay. One of the surprise guests we're going to have is my brother Dan. He's a professional comedian, magician, and an expert in health and fitness. And he is known by the stage name, because he does magic, of Hou-Danny. And so I now call up, to lead us in the Kiddush, I didn't know he was doing this, I call up my brother, my Frisbee partner, my collaborator on the trampoline, and my fellow Star Trek fan, and fan stands for fanatic, which describes us pretty well when it comes to Star Trek, my brother Dan. He's a bartender, so it's fitting that he drinks a little wine here. That's why I told you we planned it out. I figured bartender, wine, that must be.
I'm a bartender at a nursing home. It's true. It's called The Last Call. No, that's a joke, but no, that's true. Should we do the Kiddush? All right. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So should I read the English first? Okay. Let us bless the source of life that ripens the fruit on the vine, as we follow the seventh day, the Sabbath day, as we, in remembrance of creation, for the Sabbath is among holy days. We therefore raise this cup of sweet wine and recite the blessing over the wine. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, borei pri ha'gafen. Amen.
Dan, like me, is very science-oriented. So at most synagogues, he'd be reading something about God did this and God did that, and he would feel like, well, I can't read this. But everything here is rewritten so that it conforms with reason and science. So you don't have to worry. But if there's something you want to share with us, you're going to do a little shtick, right? You want to do that later? Anything you want to share about the wine, or you? Well, go ahead.
I had a person at my bar as I said, I'm a bartender at a nursing home, and this lady said the best wine comes from Napa. But I told her, I said, you don't even know what you're talking about, because I went there. They didn't even sell wine at an auto parts store. Well, they did have one wine. It was called Quaker Estate. It was a heavy wine. It was a 10W40. But this lady was very demanding. She said, I want a bottle of your finest Cabernet. I said, what year? She said, right now. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Hou-Danny. All right, now we're going to continue with a song that we've never done before. See if you recognize the original melody. It's of the vintage most people here, Debra, you probably won't recognize it, but maybe. You never know. Welcome the new moon. I rejoice in a new week. Giving meaning to our days is what the Jews do seek. Seeking holiness is what I do. In other words, I'm a Jew. Finding ways to help, let me be a source of light. I'll always get involved and strive to do what's right. I fight for what's true. Yes, I do. In other words, I'm a Jew. You can sing if you want. I fill my heart with love. I will sing forevermore. Justice, peace, and love is what we pass down, Va-Dor, Va-Dor. My hands and heart reach out to you. In other words, I'm a Jew. Fly me to the moon. That's right. And I said, welcome the new moon, because there's a new moon. And so it's appropriate, welcome to the new moon. Now we have what we call introduction to prayer. So you are at congregation Va-Dor, which means our approach is a little different. We actually make sense. We actually tell you the truth, not any fake news. And we conform to the latest of what science has to offer. Some people say we are definitely designed. There's a designer out there. It might not be the God of the Torah, but it's some kind of design that created all this. How else would everything get here? Natural selection explains how we got here much, much better than a designer. If you look at us, we were not designed. If there was a designer, he was pretty poor. And as Christopher Hitchens said, if he wrote the Torah, let's just hope he was having a bad day. Okay, how do I know we weren't designed? Well, we evolved from all fours, and then we walk on two legs. That's why when you get old, we have bad backs. Somebody who designed us would have given a little stronger back, so we wouldn't all be suffering back. We swallow and breathe out of the same tube, which means we could choke to death. If we had two different tubes, it would be a lot better. Animals exist by tearing each other limb by limb and eating each other. Would you do that? If you were designing the world, would you say, hey, let's all eat each other? That's a good way of doing it. Or let's have human beings live to about 20 years old for 2 million years and suffer. No. But let me tell you this. What we do know is that we were produced by some type of, or we came about through an incredible, miraculous, wondrous, awesome process called natural selection. And you and I and all of us and our friends and families, we are the result of billions of years of getting better and better and better and better and evolving in such a way that we can actually see and hear and think and feel. And most of all, unlike much of the animal kingdom, we can change for the better. We can use our rational mind to be more loving, more giving, more happy, more sensitive, and we can work together to create a better world. That's something that we should rejoice about, and we do every Shabbat. And with this in mind, with forming an image of what we could be if we used all our potential and what the world could be if we got our act together, we now engage in a series of reflections from our ancient past infused with modern understanding. And so we're going to continue now with the prayers and with music, and we're going to do it in an inspirational way. And we start with this song, As We Bless.
As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. So we are blessed, and the blessings give us strength and makes our visions clear, and the blessings give us peace and the courage to dare as we bless the source of life. So we are blessed as we bless the source of life. So we are blessed. Baruch et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Baruch Adonai Hamevorach.
You can stand if you'd like for the Baruch Hu.
Le'olam va'ed. I'll do that one more time while you're standing. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
Siéntanse, por favor. Please be seated. We continue reading responsively. Where you see the bold writing, that's where you read boldly. We each wish to feel peaceful this new Shabbat. After noise, we seek quiet.
After crowds of indifferent strangers, we seek to touch those we love.
After concentration on work and responsibility, we seek freedom to listen to our inward selves.
We open our eyes to the hidden beauties and the infinite possibilities in the world.
We break open the gates of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others. By the way, if we slip up and we say something that you don't think is something consistent with reason and science and we mess up, let us know. All right, we believe in open dialogue, and we want to keep coming closer and closer. Truth is something that we never actually obtain in an absolute form. We're striving to get closer and closer, and the best way to do that is with open minds and to have give and take and dialogue across the spectrum. We now give thanks to the fact that the earth is in the Goldilocks zone, not too close, not too far from the sun, and that all the heavenly bodies kind of know what to do according to the laws of physics so that life can continue on this earth. We don't know how often life arises on other planets. It's probably exceptionally rare. But we give thanks that it arose here, and we defied the odds. And we do that with a prayer called Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim. Borei yom v'layla, the creator of day and night. Goler or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or. U'me'avir yom u'mevi layla. U'mavdil ben yom u'ben layla. Adonai tzvaot shemo el chai v'kayam tamid. Yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Ma'ariv Aravim. We now give thanks that one of our ancestors, not necessarily Abraham, but somebody back there, our people, realized all the cosmos, all the people, all the living things, everything we see, it's all interconnected, it's all one. They didn't know how, and we're learning more and more about it every day. But we give thanks for their insight, because now our goal is to unite all people of all religions, all races, and in fact, all living things. To be one. That is our goal as Jews, reflected in the Shema. If you're comfortable doing so, please stand for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod, Shem Kivod, Malchuto, Leolam, Leolam Vahed.
The cosmos reflects a creative power, and this power is one. When we perceive this unity in our neshama, a new day will have begun. We continue now with "And You Shall Love."
And you shall love Adonai your God with all of your heart, with all your soul, and with all of your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you're sitting in your house, when you're walking by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorpost of your house and upon your gate, and upon your gate, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
Ve'ahavta, exactly. So we have Baruch Hu, we should give praise to all of creation. Shema, we should recognize it's all one. And Ve'ahavta, we should approach everything with a feeling of love. Even people of a different race, a different place, a different face, a different religion, a different nationality. And I know it's hard to do, but I'm an optimist. We should even feel love for someone who belongs to a different political party. Do you think we can do this, my friends? If we're Jewish, we must. We must believe we can do it, and we must work to do it, because this country is in really, really bad shape when we cannot talk to each other. Every time you walk in here and you sing the Shema, if you walk out there and you're still at odds with people because of some kind of political belief or some argument you had, you're not really putting into practice what we're doing here. All right, so you gotta practice what we're preaching. No. It's unconditional, no conditions on it. Gloria is one of our raging grannies, so she's enraged. I can't blame her. Okay, next we have Avot Imahot. You know, I hear Marcy come up and give glowing tributes to her parents. Many of us have good parents, but how many of us really allow their memory to be channeled through us? That's a great thing. My brother Dan is here. We had amazing parents. We had a trampoline, a basketball court, a big hill for sleigh riding, a tetherball, all in at our house, a paved-in basketball court, and we just had fun all day. And I'll tell you the best thing about my mom.
5 boys.
The 5 boys all ready to do sports. The best thing was when it was time to eat, they would ring little bells and kids would run in. Okay, come on in. My mother never, ever called us in to eat if it was still light out. As long as it was light, we were playing outside. She felt sports and being with friends was more important than food. We can eat anytime. And that was one of the great things. Right then about our parents. They loved sports and they had a great time. And so we give thanks to our parents. And all of us here right now with the Avot Imahot, this is our chance to remember our parents and our grandparents and our ancestors. And the best way we can thank them is not with our words, but with our deeds. to live up to the ideals they had for us. So let us stand if we're able to, and or you can stand metaphorically in your seat, but if you like, stand up and let us, in honor of our parents, say the Avot v'Imahot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel. And I lost my place.
That's okay. Ha'el Hagadol.
האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך חוזר ומשיח ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה, אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום, יללוך הסלע, ברוך אתה אדוני, Ha'el HaKadosh. We give praise to this holy creative power that was in our parents and which they implanted within us. Amen. And now we be seated, please, and we return. Hashkivenu.
We return. You can echo me. We return. We return. We return. Return again. We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return. Return again and again to love. To love. To love. We return again to love. We return.
We return.
We return. We return. Return again. We return.
We return.
We return. We return. Return again, again to truth. To truth. To truth. We return again to truth. Hashkivenu Adonai Alecha v'nashuva Chadesh Yameinu Kikedem Yalalai, yalalai, yalalai,
Yadididai.
yalalai, yalalai,
Yadididai.
yalalai. We return again to love.
Our return is very appropriate to sing because we're going to enter the high holiday period soon, in which we embark on Teshuvah, which means to return. Why return? Some religions teach we're born evil. We're born in sin. We were created by original sin and our nature is evil. Jews don't believe that. We believe the exact opposite. The soul which you have given me is true. It's pure. Tahor. And we seek to return to our pure soul in the high holidays. This is a chance now to get warmed up, to get into the swing of it, to get into practice before the big day, before the big match. So let us into a few moments of silent meditation. Let us think, how can we return to the purity of our youth before we became a little bit cynical, a little bit frustrated? How can we return to that purity? We have that purity inside us now. We believe that, and we have faith as Jews, not necessarily as supernatural beings, but that the natural is super, and that within us is a creative power, a pure power that we can tap into. Let us do so now by entering a few moments of silent meditation and return. We read the names of those who are ailing: Nancy Byer, Diane Bush, Rita Elias, Charlie Feller, Donna Field, Laura Gallagher, Sherry Glass, Carolyn Goldberg, Edward Haas, Nadine Herbst, Carol Kahn, Robert Caskell, Kendra Kurse, Ruth Marks, Melissa Swanson Musil, Dr. Sudhir Nair, Marilyn Paul, Laura Perlman Devens, Ira Phillips, Vivian Cronin, Bernie Rosen, Susan Rosenberg, Miriam Sivak, Jacob Viner, Douglas Volan, Naomi Volan, Sheila Winston, and Charles Wood. Any other names that you would like to add to our list?
Sheila Firestone.
Anybody else?
Garrett.
Anybody else? Yes, Ron. Well, thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
If you're wondering, how does he know so many names? This is the former president of a Reconstructionist synagogue. I am right? You were the president?
No.
This is the former leader of the Reconstructionist synagogue in Boca Raton. That is correct, right? Okay, very good. And we're very, very big fans here of the Reconstructionist movement, which is a very enlightened movement of Judaism. Anybody else have any names that they would like to share? Yes? Thank you. Yes?
Behind you, there was somebody else.
Is that Bev? I got the light shining on. I think that's Bev, right? Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? We hope that all of those who are ailing, especially the people of Maui, the people of Ukraine and Russia, and the women of Iran, and virtually every other Muslim country, and our planet, we hope they'll all receive a refuah shlema, that we might be instrumental in bringing about healing to them all. Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Misha Berach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel. May the source who blessed our mothers, may the source that blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with the visions of tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Misha Berach Avotenu, Misha Shebelach Imotenu. Echo, hear our prayer.
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 And bless us as well.
Now it is my pleasure to call all the way from Tampa, Florida, the amazing, the astonishing Hou-Danny, here at the Heritage, celebrating our Jewish heritage and also my family's heritage. He takes after my dad. My dad was a great comedian. My dad was interested in spiritual health, and he worked magic with an audience. So I now invite you to enjoy a little bit of the shtick of the great Hou-Danny.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. Excellent. All right, I'm going to start today with my opening trick with, has anybody ever heard of Jack LaLanne? Jack LaLanne, yeah, wow. Usually I say that, nobody ever knows who he is. Okay, well, we're talking about parents and stuff. My mom had the Jack LaLanne show on every day when I was growing up. I don't know if you know this. He would begin the show doing jumping jacks. Did you know the jumping jack is named after Jack LaLanne? A lot of people don't know that. That's true. That's right. He's considered the godfather of fitness, and he opened the first gym in America back in the 30s when the doctors were saying don't exercise, it's bad for you, it's going to cause heart attacks. And he would do incredible physical stunts every year for his birthday. When he was 70 years old, he pulled 70 tugboats from Alcatraz to San Francisco while being handcuffed and shackled. I'm not making, you can look it up on YouTube and you can see him doing it. So my two heroes are Jack LaLanne and Hou-Danny. I try to combine the showmanship of Hou-Danny and the passion of Jack LaLanne to get my message across. So we're going to talk about Jack LaLanne. Jack LaLanne said exercise is king and nutrition is queen. And if you put them together, you've got a kingdom. Well, I like to do, so I do an audio visual for the children. I use the King of Hearts to represent exercise. Exercise is king. Why hearts? Because when you exercise, you want to get your heart beating real fast. Okay? And so I exercise every day. I ride my bicycle 10 miles a day, and I go around this place in Brandon. It's called Providence Run. It's a big semicircle, and it starts off with a big fountain, and I call that my fountain of youth, based on a line from a poem about my mom. And every time I go by it, I say, "Hi, Mom." So we're talking about our parents here, and I want to read. Let me put this down here first. Pay attention. I'm a school teacher. There's going to be a quiz in a minute. Okay. All right. So exercise is king. We're going to put the king over here. Over here. Yep, I'm coming back. Okay, I can talk. Yeah, mic stand. There we go. Excellent. I want to read this little line from the poem about the fountain of youth. I wrote a poem about my mom called A Vital Organist. And that's what she definitely was. She set the example. She didn't just allow us to do sports, but she actually set the example for us and did it herself. This is the line from my poem. I thank my mother for revealing the truth. An active life keeps the years from showing. I got spritzed so often from her fountain of youth that my gene pool is endlessly overflowing. So that's where I ride my bike. I go around this place. I see this big fountain. I call that the fountain of youth. I say, "Hi, Mom." Then I go to the end, and there's a beautiful lake, birds and butterflies and all kinds of wildlife. And then I come back around. Then I go to the park and I do my exercises. I ride 10 miles a day. I've gone around the planet 8 times. The circumference of the earth is 26,000 miles, and I've gone around the planet. I've gone over 250,000 miles on my bicycle, 10 miles a day for over 50 years. So just to let you know. So I say exercise is king, nutrition is queen. I use the queen of spades to represent nutrition. Why spades? Because a spade is a tool that you use in the garden. That reminds me, most of the food you eat should be fruits and vegetables. You can eat a little bit of meat also. I eat a little bit of meat too. I'm part of the Meat Too movement. Okay. So exercise is king, nutrition is queen. Put them together, you've got a kingdom. We'll put the queen over here. All right. What I tell the children is, if you want to stay healthy and young, like Jack LaLanne and like me, you got to do 3 things every day. You got to run, get some sun, and have some fun. So that's what I like to do. I like to run. I don't run. I ride my bike, get some activity, get some sun, get some fresh air. Don't sit inside playing with your computer all day. And have some fun. Be a kid. Don't be in such a hurry to grow up. You know, you don't have to tell a kid to exercise, do you? You just let them loose on the playground, they just go crazy. Something happens when people become adults. They go, I don't want to exercise. That's no fun. They don't want to do it anymore. So just keep that in mind. Run, sun, and fun. Okay, now Hou-Danny, my idol. By the way, I have a lot in common with Hou-Danny. My stage name is Hou-Danny, which my father came up with that stage name, Hou-Danny. And Hou-Danny's father was a rabbi, just like me. It's true. His name was Eric Weiss. His father was a rabbi. I can hold my breath for 4 minutes underwater. I have that in common with Hou-Danny. And Hou-Danny was very poor growing up. I was also very poor growing up because my father's a rabbi. It was hard for him to bring home the bacon. We were so kosher, I wasn't allowed to have a piggy bank or a ham radio. I'll tell you, it was rough, folks. I invited my neighbor over for dinner, and I said, my dad's a rabbi. At our house, we pray before we eat. She said, we don't have to do that at my house because my mom's a good cook. This neighbor of mine, her name was Laureen. She was very pretty. I had a crush on her. Sometimes we'd play doctor. Usually she'd be the doctor, and I'd be the malpractice attorney. Okay. All right. So Hou-Danny, his signature bit that he would do was called metamorphosis. He'd bring his wife, Bess, his assistant, on stage, put her in this gigantic box, wooden box, and close up the box and put ropes and chains around the box. And then Hou-Danny would stand on top of the box and pull up this big sheet and hold it like this. And then he'd peek down from the sheet and he'd peek over the top. And then he'd pull it up. And then when he pulled the sheet down again, Bess was standing on the box. Then they'd take the ropes and the chains, and Hou-Danny was in the box, so they switched places. He called that metamorphosis. Well, I'm not as good as Hou-Danny, but I'm going to try something similar. Since these cards represent people, a king and a queen, I'm going to see if I can make the cards switch places. All right, here we go. Ready, switch. All right, let's see if it worked. So now the king should be over here. How about, yeah, king's over here. Okay, thank you. And we'll see. There we go. The queen's over there. I don't know. Do I have time for another quickie or no? Okay. I don't want to go over my time. No, I'm very conscious of that. I don't want to go over my time. At the Oneg, I'll do a few more tricks for you guys, okay? But I'm glad I'm here because Marcy is a really good magician too, so I'm glad I came here at this occasion. And thank you very much, everybody. I'm the astonishing Hou-Danny.
The great Hou-Danny is available afterwards for tricks for your personal amusement. He's not only, he's the king and the queen of comedy, and he's also the joker because he tells a lot of jokes. So thank you very much. Now, I want to share with you something else. I worked hard in order to help someone become a congresswoman. I don't care much for most politicians. I have very little use for them. Both political parties have disappointed me greatly. Of course, I'll always support a party that actually believes in climate change and doesn't try to overthrow the government, but both parties disappoint me. But we have a congresswoman who's from Haiti, and I have relatives from Haiti because they fled from the Holocaust and Haiti let them in, and we have a great fondness for Haitians. And I helped her, and we worked together. She's now the only Haitian congresswoman, congressperson in the world, or in the United States. Now, there's someone else that I'm very excited about. I tell you, I don't support many candidates. But when I found out what she does, how she spends her time, how she gives to the community, and when I found out that she's a vegan, which takes an incredible amount of dedication, devotion, and caring for animals and for the planet, I thought, that's somebody that I think we could support. Now, I'm not offering my support just now. I'm just saying something that you might want to consider supporting. I'm going to call her up now just to share a few words because she wanted to come and say hello to you. And anyone who wants to say hello to this congregation of any party is welcome. I call her up now. Debra, come on up and share a few words.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Debra Tendrich, and I'm actually the founder of a nonprofit called Eat Better, Live Better. And that is an organization that feeds families who cannot afford to eat. And we have a unique way of feeding people. But right now, people are suffering. And I like what you said about, any race, because we don't discriminate. People walk through our doors, they're all races, all ages, all religions, and hunger has no face right now. We've seen a lot of senior citizens coming through our doors who own their homes, no mortgage, and they're being priced out of home ownership because the cost of living, the cost of their association fees, and the condo assessments, they can't keep up with that. We have children who are rationing their meals or skipping meals and saying it's your turn to eat tonight and it's your turn to eat tomorrow. And with that being said, my organization provides groceries. We actually started back in 2016 because in 2013, I lost 70 pounds and I reversed my daughter's medical conditions with food. My daughter just started 9th grade and she's still healthy. But we first start off with nutrition education. So we've actually taught over 12,000 kids how to eat healthy. And when COVID happened, school shut down, we thought we needed to find a new way to feed people because most of the food that's distributed is unhealthy. But when you look at the folks who come through our doors to get food, they can't afford to take off work to go to the doctor. They're rationing their medications, so they're taking a medicine that's supposed to be taken every day, every second or third day because they can't afford their prescriptions. They're coming to us when they have chronic medical conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, or they're in chemotherapy and they can't work because of their medical treatments and they're not even capable to work or they're disabled. And when they're coming to us with these conditions, we feel it's our responsibility to provide food that feeds the hunger and not the disease. So we only provide healthy groceries for these families. So we're not giving food like cheese puffs and Chef Boyardee. We're giving food with substance, fresh produce, food items that can actually make a real meal. We provide not just the nourishment, but we also teach people how to create a lifestyle that provides generational changes and generational health. So we also found out that families are needing more than just food. They have pets. So we actually feed the pets too. We have a pet food coordinator that helps collect pet food and cat and dog food. And they also have other needs. So we've actually helped in the last year over 150 families secure other basic needs like housing, down payment assistance to get into homes. If they can't pay, if their water bill's turned off, then we help them turn it back on. If they need dental work. So what we do is we really provide a full service. And that's one of the reasons I'm actually running, because I want to be that bridge for the community to make sure that they have someone they can talk to and ask for help. And I look forward to meeting all of you and staying involved. If you want to get involved with my organization, we're right here in Delray. We serve the whole county. And I would love to be able to invite you to come visit our facility. I would love you to come visit. And, you were lucky when you were a kid. You got to go out and play and come home and eat because you knew you can eat anytime. A lot of people can't do that. And so, we will pray for them. Thank you.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you for all you're doing.
And I know my brother Dan, he's not here that often, but he has videos that you might want to show to the kids to teach them about good eating. Thank you very much for what you're doing. She'll have cards in the back if you want to contact her. Thank you very much, Deborah, for what you're doing for the community. We're now going to have our Torah service. We are going to read responsively along with me. Behold, a good doctrine has been given you, my Torah, do not forsake it.
It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness.
Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. I call up Marcy
Amen.
Weiss and Harris Friedman. Do you come on up and carry the Torah, make some noise? If you like, we have 2 Torahs and we have 2 noisemakers. If anybody wants to make a little noise, you're welcome to do it. And we have Ruth playing the piano. Take this.
Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omer. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al haTorah ve'al havodah ve'al gimilut hasadim. Al haTorah ve'al havodah ve'al gimilut hasadim. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael chai. 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 O Ravinu chai, O Ravinu chai. O Ravinu, O Ravinu, O Ravinu chai. O Ravinu chai, O Ravinu chai. O Ravinu, O Ravinu, O Ravinu chai. Im tertsu, angel agada, liodam koshi, beratzenu, be'eretz Zion, Yerushalayim, tertsu, angel agada, liodam koshi, beratzenu, be'eretz Zion, Yerushalayim.
Thank you so much for our Torah and noisemaker carriers. Now, Giselle came in today. Is Giselle still here? Is she still awake? Giselle's still there. I gave her her name. And if it wasn't for me, she'd be walking around nameless. And I think this was her parents who said, did you write a song? Are you going to sing a song tonight? Because I sang a song at their wedding, the parents' wedding. I thought, yeah, I think I will sing a song. To our birthday girl, to Ruth. I came up with a little song for Ruth, so if you'll indulge me, it goes like this. Let me tell you my story about a gal named Ruth. At 90 years young, she still displays the signs of youth. At 90, she continues to flourish and thrive. And when she plays piano, we all come alive. She plays the piano for Va-Dor. And with her skill and finesse, who could ask for more? And when she plays the Hine Matov, we are filled with joy, gladness, and love. When she plays piano, everyone she does please. She's an expert when it comes to those 88 keys. We give her all our thanks and our gratitude for putting us in a spiritual mood. And now it's time to say good luck to a fine piano player who is the answer to a rabbi's prayer. You're all invited back again to our next Shabbat, to one we appreciate and we love a lot. You all come back now,
Happy
you hear?
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Ruth just told me, I think she's the only one who ever said this, but she said, I get to meet her kids next week, and they're very special. I don't know if does anybody else feel that way about their kids? I don't know. But I do know this, your kids actually must be very special because their mom is amazing. She just walked in and started playing for us, and she is amazing. So I hear that a lot, but your kids, I know they are special. Thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you.
Now we're going to...
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
I'm kind of mechanically challenged,
Can I help?
so even taking the Torah cover off is a chore for me. And I got a little pointer here, courtesy of Carol.
Can I hold it?
Yeah, that'd be
Hold it up?
great. This passage is called Shoftim. Shoftim v'shoftim titen lecha b'chol she'alecha. You shall appoint judges and officers to rule over you within your gates. Asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha l'shivtecha, which God is giving to the tribes. V'yishfetu et ha'am hamishpat tzedek, and they shall rule over the people with justice and tzedek, with righteousness. Lo teteh mishpat. Don't pervert justice. V'lo v'shaftu et ha'am mishpat tzedek. Lo ta'am mishpat v'lo takir panim. It literally means don't recognize a face. What it really means is don't show favoritism. V'lo tikach shochad. Don't take a bribe. Ki hashochad ya'aver enei chachamim v'yisalef divrei tzadikim. Because a bribe will twist the words of the wise. They will pervert the words of the righteous, and a political bribe, also known as a campaign contribution, will cause county commissioners to sell out the people they represent and pave over the ag reserve. So don't allow these developers to bribe the county commissioners to do their bidding. Tzedek,
Amen.
tzedek tirdof. Righteousness, righteousness shall you pursue. And it says it twice, tzedek, because they're serious about righteousness. In order that you may thrive in the land which, according to the Torah, God is giving you. But this entire planet is something that is a blessing and a wonder, including the United States of America. Do not build yourself a pillar. Don't put up a post and don't make a stone monument that you should worship. God hates those things. Oh yes, he's a jealous God. Don't do that. And when God enjoys the aroma of charred flesh, make sure that the animals are pure, because he doesn't like if it has a blemish. Now, that obviously is some of the primitive parts of the Bible that they think God actually enjoys animal flesh and somehow consumes it. What we've just heard is very enlightened, but this part is not. Ki yimsa b'kirbecha be'achad she'alecha asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha ish o isha asher ya'aseh et hara be'enei Adonai Elohecha la'avor berito v'yelech v'ya'avor Elohim achechem v'yishtachavu lahem uleshemesh uleyareach ulechol tzeva hashamayim asher lo tzaviti hagud lecha v'shamata v'dorashta v'hetev. If you find someone, a man or a woman, within your midst, in your gates, and he is worshiping another god, or he is worshiping the sun or the moon or the heavenly hosts, inquire about it and look into it. And if it turns out that this is true, v'hinei emet, it's true, v'nachon, and it's correct, hadavar na'asta b'ha'amda hazot b'Yisrael, and this is going on in Israel, v'hotzeti et ha'ish hahu o et ha'isha hahiv asher asu et hadavar hara hazeh el sha'arecha et ha'ish ve'et ha'isha v'sekaltem ba'avanim. And if you find out it's true, then take that man or woman out to the city gates and stone them to death. The blessing after the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Well, my friends, we have this passage called Shoftim. I always think of my grandfather because it means judges or judgments. My grandfather was a judge, and I was studying law, and I was with him one day, and I had very, very, very long hair. My dad called it an Isro instead of an afro. It was long. And my grandfather was the head of the admissions to the bar of the state of Connecticut. And he said, if you ever showed up in front of me with that hair, I don't care what grades you had, you would never, ever be able to practice law in the state of Connecticut. And that's when I decided I think I'm going to practice in Florida. Now I am follically challenged due to some medical difficulties, and so I wouldn't have to worry about that. I think it's coming back one of these days. But for now, I'll wear my hat with the Chai on it, because today is the 18th of August, and 18 is Chai, and we celebrate life today. I celebrate life today. I give thanks to some amazing doctors, some amazing nurses, and some wonderful people who have kept me around for many, many years, because I need to be here in order to antagonize a whole bunch of people that are trying to destroy this planet and trying to invade women's rights. So I'm very thankful to them. And I also remember another lawyer a long time ago. His name was Abraham Lincoln. And Abraham Lincoln showed up in front of a judge, and he argued a case. And the judge said, Mr. Lincoln, you're arguing a point of law, and this morning you were here and you argued the exact opposite point of law. How do you explain that? You're arguing one thing at 1 in the morning, and then in the afternoon you're arguing something totally different. He said, well, I had time to think about it. We've had time to think about this passage that says that you stone to death someone who does not follow the same God as everybody else. Someone who might think, oh, I'm going to worship the sun or the moon or the stars or another God. We've had time to think about it. But there's some people who don't want to think. They're called Orthodox. They're called fundamentalist Christians. They're called radicals of one type or another. They believe that a divine author wrote this. I ask everyone here, tell me, is there anyone here who thinks that an infallible, all-knowing, all-good being wrote a Torah that says if somebody is worshiping different than you are, they should be stoned to death? Is there anyone here who thinks that? Anyone with a rational mind? Anyone who takes the time to think? We've had thousands of years. And people are still saying, oh, no, that was written by God. There's another part in the same passage. It says, if you come upon a city and you want to conquer it, go to them and say, hey, you know what? We're a reasonable people. If you'd like, you could surrender, and we'll make you all our slaves. If you don't, we'll kill all the men and we'll rape all the women and take them as booty. It says that in here. Does anybody think God wrote that? That, my friends, is the blueprint for ISIS. If you want to know where ISIS got its ideas from, virtually most of the Quran comes from the Torah. The word Quran, it means Koreh, it means what's written. Quran, a singer in Islam is Chazan, and in Hebrew it's Chazan. So don't blame ISIS alone. We've met the enemy, it's us. It's in here, and it's people who don't want to question anything over thousands of years. So we do question it, and we also notice, I'll tell you this about our Muslim brothers and sisters. If you want to ever go to a place that practices the hospitality of Abraham and welcomes people with open arms, go to your local mosque. You'll see beautiful, wonderful people. I know, because I go to all the local mosques, and they are. But if you want to risk your life, go to a mosque in Gaza or the West Bank or many, many other Muslim countries, and if you wear your Jewish star, I hope you have a good life insurance policy. Okay, so we've grown a lot. Now let me tell you something else about this passage, because I'm short on time, because I had some incredible speakers come up. We have here passages that say the legal system should be just. It says that you should seek righteousness. In our legal system, we're legalistic. The jury instructions say, don't let compassion enter your equation. Don't let justice have anything to do with your decision. Just rule on the law. Our people, the Jewish people, thousands of years ago said, no, justice is what you should pursue. That was our first step towards it. We're now evolved so that we can take more steps towards it. And let me tell you something. The only way The only way that you can seek justice is when everyone is accountable under the law. You cannot have anyone who is above the law because it destroys and undermines the entire system. And I'm very happy now that they are finally investigating what went on January 6th and at other times. And if you notice, they have left no stone unturned. If you don't believe me, ask Roger. All right, he will tell you that. Okay. We also have a Supreme Court whose members, many of them, were chosen by a self-admitted abuser of women. They should all be impeached as the fruit of the poisonous tree, because all they did was codify the abuse of former President Trump, who appointed them. And if you're appointed by a criminal and an abuser, you have no business serving on the court, and they should not be allowed to do that. And when it comes to Clarence Thomas, and he's taking all these gifts where the highest court in the land has the lowest standards, and he says, I didn't do anything wrong, doesn't even report it, and he says, I did everything correctly. Let's just say I'm a doubting Thomas, okay? I don't know about you, but when it comes to Clarence Thomas, I am a doubting Thomas. My friends, today we have the ability to judge, but here is the thing. It's easy to judge others. The most important judgment and the most difficult judgment is to judge ourselves. That's what we're called upon to do. Can we be objective and see ourselves the way others do? Can we judge ourselves? It's difficult, but I'll tell you this. If we can judge ourselves and realize where we went wrong and correct it, then every day is exciting, because every day we can be better today than we were yesterday, and we can try to seek to perfect ourselves and become the type of people that natural selection enabled us to be, that our parents dreamed that we could be, that our prophets envisioned that we can be. We can take the greatest journey of all if we are able to judge ourselves on these high holidays as they approach, because we can take the greatest journey, the journey from where we are today to the person we could become tomorrow if we lived up to our highest potential. And if you think that's a great goal, I can tell you someone who would agree with that. It would be my father, because he's the one that taught that to me. Those are his words, virtually verbatim, from many, many years ago, and they're still true today. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Rabbi. Okay, up to you. When I was young, I davened in the synagogue, waiting for my favorite song. When they'd sing, I'd sing along. It made me clap. Those were such happy times, and not so long ago, I discovered they're not gone. Yes, they're back again, and so I say amen. They help me to go on. Every Shabbat, every Shalom, we pray for a brighter new day. Every song that we sing, every Hebrew blessing, we pray for a brighter new day. When we get to the part where we sing from the heart, it can really make me smile, just like before. Our souls are pure once more. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
For I know there is no bearded man above who controls our lives on earth, a divine creative force led to our birth. And at last I comprehend those Hebrew prayers, though I don't know every word. Each one does express our joy and thankfulness with a faith that has matured. Every Rosh Hashanah to Hoshana Rabbah we pray and sing the Kol Yidrei. All the people give praise on the high holidays for life, and seek to end all strife when he gets to the part where he sings from the heart, making really solemn vows. He sings again. We Jews atone and pray.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Now I'd like you to please stand, if you'd like, for the Kaddish. We're going to read the names of those who passed away recently. Renee Gerger, Brenda Harmelin, Arlene Potter, Jordan Volin, and those the anniversary of whose departure occurs these days: Emmanuel Aronoff, Harriet Aronoff, Shirley Bain, Ola Beck, Jonathan Cohen, Gertrude Dater, Samuel Diamond, Rose Greenberg, Sylvia Greenberg, Carolyn Grosky, Arthur Herman, Edgar Kearley, Keen Kurz, Hyman Levin, David Mallon, Jerry Millman, Eugene Mulrad, Eugene Pasick, Saul Pomerantz, Samuel Robbins, Bert Rosenzweig, Buddy Rossman, Joy Sawitz, Oscar Schreiber, Dora Sheskin, Fred Wilder, Shireen Willens, and Ruth L. Wood. Any other names that anybody would like to read?
Be a blessing.
Any other names? May all of their memory be a blessing, and may we help to make it so. Let us read together the Kaddish. Yiskedal v'yiskadash Shem Rabba, v'yomad yivrach Roseh v'yamlich malchuseh, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayeh l'chol beis Yisrael, v'agalav izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shem Rabba mivarach l'olam omei omaya, yisporach v'yistabach v'yispor v'yischama v'yisnaseh. Yisadar v'yisaleh v'yisalal shemed kedusha b'rechu, le'elam min kol berchasa v'shirasa, tushbechasa v'nechamasa da'amiron b'yoma v'imru amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'yokol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'yokol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated. I call up Sharon Leibovitz for her announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi Barry. Thank you, Cantor Carol. Thank you, Hou-Danny Silver. And thank you for Debra for speaking to us, and also for Rabbi's song to Ruth. Happy birthday, Ruth. Va-Dor welcomes all through our doors, and we welcome you tonight to Shabbat, to share Shabbat with us. This Tuesday, August 22nd, we have our Touch of Torah with Rabbi Barry on Zoom at 7 p.m. And next Friday, we have Shabbat again here at the Heritage at Delray at 7:30 p.m. And the following night, Saturday, August 26th, we have Golda, the life of Golda Meir, played by Helen Mirren, at 7 p.m. at the Movies of Delray. Rabbi Barry will introduce the movie and then speak after and lead questions and answers at the Movies of Delray. Please join us there. Look for us on social media, our website, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We welcome you to our High Holy Day services, which will also be at the Movies of Delray. There's information on the back table and also on our website, ladorvador.org. We invite you all to stay following our service for our Oneg Shabbat, sponsored by Dr. Marcy, and we thank you all for attending. Shabbat Shalom.
I thank also Marcy, because she's also a great magician. Like my brother Dan, they have a lot in common. Thanks for sponsoring the Oneg. Thanks for all our speakers. Thank you, everybody, for participating.
She's magic.
And we have, yes, she is magic. We do have flyers for the movie back there, Golda. I encourage you, come back next week and bring 2 or 3 people, because we want rational Judaism to survive and to thrive in this community. Thank you all for being here. That is my final benediction, that we improve from today till tomorrow and the day after, every single day. We now have the hope. Our concluding song.
This is the hope that is real, a Jewish home in Israel. This is the time we stand as one, if not now, when? We must be strong, our hearts tuned to the east. Yeah, this is the hope that holds us together. Hatikva, the hope that will last forever. This is the hope that holds us together. Hatikva, the hope that is still real. Hatikva, the hope is real. Hatikva, our home is real. Hatikva, the hope is real. Hatikva, our home